Well, as Donald Trump prepares for his second presidential inauguration, the event is shaping up to be a bold preview of his foreign policy. In fact, in a break from tradition, a host of foreign leaders, including right-wing populists like Argentina's Javier Milei and Italy's Giorgia Meloni, will be in attendance. And this international guest list signals a significant shift away from the defiance that marked his first term and towards a growing global deference, as many analysts point out. But what does this mean for the future of global diplomacy under Trump's leadership? Well, here's our report on what to expect, followed by my colleague Kate Fisher's report from Washington, D.C.
President-elect Donald Trump is all set to be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States in a historic ceremony at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. The event will feature a star-studded lineup including celebrities, foreign dignitaries, and tech titans, marking the beginning of Trump's second term in office. So, what can we expect from this momentous event? For one, Mother Nature is throwing a curveball. The ceremony will now take place indoors due to a bone-chilling cold front sweeping through the Capitol. Instead of the usual outdoor setting, the president's inaugural address, along with other key speeches, will be delivered from the iconic rotunda of the U.S. Capitol. The inaugural parade will be held indoors at Washington's Capital One Arena. A global lineup of leaders is set to grace the inauguration, with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, Argentinian President Javier Milei, and Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán among the prominent figures expected to attend. Chinese President Xi Jinping will not attend the ceremony, but is instead sending the Vice President as a special envoy. India will be represented by External Affairs Minister S.J. Shankar, while Japan's Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya has also confirmed his participation. All living former U.S. presidents will be present with their spouses, continuing a long-standing tradition. However, former First Lady Michelle Obama has chosen to skip the event, offering no explanation for her absence. Both female candidates who lost the race to the White House to Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Kamala Harris last November, will be present. Some of the world's most influential business figures will be attending. Tesla CEO and staunch Trump supporter Elon Musk, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg are expected to be seated together. TikTok CEO Xiaozi Chu will join the high-profile guest list just as a nationwide TikTok ban takes effect. He's likely to sit alongside the tech mogul trio. Google CEO Sundar Pichai will also be making his way to the Capitol for the occasion. The ceremony will feature a lineup of iconic musical performances. Opera singer Christopher Machio will perform the national anthem. Country legend Lee Greenwood will bring the spirit of patriotism alive with God Bless the USA. And Carrie Underwood will sing America the Beautiful. With protests expected, thousands of federal agents, police, and other law enforcement will be on hand. President-elect Trump's inauguration is set to be a defining moment. As the world watches, the ceremony marks the start of a second term for Trump, setting the stage for what's to come in American politics. Samia Afsar, NDTV World.
The weather may be freezing in Washington, but President-elect Trump is fired up. He said that he's preparing more than 100 executive orders for his first day in office in a show of force that will set the tone for the next 4 years. Many are likely to reflect his pledges to bolster immigration enforcement and improve border security. And in major metropolitan areas, immigration raids could begin almost immediately as he follows through on campaign promises to deport undocumented migrants. And those jailed for their part in the January 6th attack on the US Capitol will be awaiting word of potential pardons from the new president. And world leaders will be watching to see if he begins executing his plans for tariffs, land grabs, and ending wars. His inauguration ceremony will begin at 12 p.m. local time, but instead of the traditional ceremony on the steps of the US Capitol, It will take place inside the Capitol building because of these cold temperatures here in Washington. The guests include some of the richest and most powerful people in the world. Every living former president is set to witness Donald Trump's return to power. But some prominent Democrats, including former First Lady Michelle Obama and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, are opting out. 3 of the world's wealthiest men will be there. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos are expected to be among the major tech executives there, along with the chief executive of the imperiled social media app TikTok. President-elect Trump invited Chinese President Xi Jinping, but the country's vice president will attend on his behalf. Several world leaders who share Mr. Trump's ideology may also be there, including Argentina's right-wing populist president Javier Milei and Italy's Giorgia Meloni. Representatives from key US allies in the Asia-Pacific region will also be attending, including the foreign ministers of India, Australia and Japan. From punitive trade tariffs to mass deportations and ending wars, Donald Trump has promised a lot for his second term, and in a few hours, we'll know just how much of this is set to happen on day one. Kate Fisher, NDTV, Washington.
And Ray Locker is also with us for further clarity. As always, Ray, thanks so much for making time for us. Do you agree with the statement that ahead of his second term, much of the world is actually bowing down to the incoming US president?
I wouldn't say bowing down, but they're far more accommodating than they were 8 years ago. I mean, 8 years ago, Trump won the election through the Electoral College, but lost the popular vote by almost 3 million votes. So many people saw that as a fluke. This time around, there's no denying he got the most votes in the 2024 election. He won the Electoral College, so he should be duly elected and duly sworn in as the president tomorrow. And so there are some people who are apprehensive about what he will do because during his first term, he threatened many companies like Amazon, like Meta/Facebook, said that they were unfair to him and other conservatives. So there's a degree of trepidation that people have, and they're hoping to mitigate that by giving money to his inauguration fundraising campaign and by appearing with him tomorrow.
But Ray, you think this time around, foreign leaders are also more accustomed to Trump's transactional nature? In fact, some diplomats are saying that as far as the invite is concerned, no one's going to laugh this off because they all need things from Trump.
Well, the United States is still the dominant country in the world, and he is the incoming president of the United States. So you ignore him and the United States at your peril if you're a leader of another country. You have to deal with us. I mean, you might not like it, but you have to. And so I think people saw what happened when he was president the last time. They know what his sweet spots are. They know how to get things from him. They know he likes to be flattered. And so they'll do that again. I mean, you look at India and Narendra Modi, that's what he did during the first Trump presidency. And I think we'll see it again.
But Ray, just on that note then, do you believe this transactional diplomacy is a sustainable long-term strategy, or does it actually risk creating unstable international relationships, especially based on short-term gains?
Well, I think it's a bad thing. I mean, you know that you can buy off Trump. You know that you can get to him in certain ways. I mean, you saw that in his first term. He owned a hotel right down the street from the White House. Foreign leaders would stay at his hotel. They would have events there. They could get to him there, and they got what they wanted. And that's an ethical nightmare. And people who like Trump don't care, may not like to hear people say that, but it's true, and it diminishes the presidency.